Yeah, imagine a world where incarcerated comes from with a price tag, where prisoners are not just only stripped of their freedom, but also forced to pay for their stay behind bars. This is a reality to pay to stay, controversial practice that has sparked debates and outrage across the globe. Florida has started doing that itself, the pay to stay. Uh, Now, that's not something new. Pay to stay is a controversial practice that's been done in the United States, where charges are done for each day you're in prison. The fees can vary by state, county, and are imposed for the room and board while the prisoner is incarcerated. And if the U.S. early, they still have to pay until their 100% date is up. Um, Pay to stay has been around for several years. It started back in the 80s for the other states, but Florida is more newer of it. Myself, I know a couple of inmates themselves that are actually paying to stay. Um, I got three that I supervise now that's paying $50 per day. Got liens against their accounts. Um, Pay to stay is a practice that's charged prisoners for their accommodations in jail and prisons. While the idea seems absurd at times, it is harsh reality for many inmates who struggles to make ends meet while serving their time. What do you think about the pay to stay? You think we should do pay to stay? We could recruit some money from the government, from them staying there, especially if they've been in the system. Some people probably won't even pay it at all. Just, I guess, depends. Um, a former inmate says, I couldn't believe it when I was told I had to pay to stay in jail. I was already struggling to survive on the outside, and now I had to worry about paying for my own imprisonment. For many, the burden for paying for their incarceration only adds to the cycle of poverty and the crime. It makes it harder for them to reintegrate into the society once they've been released. Um, Here's another prime example here.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called Pay to Stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Charging prisoners for their incarceration raises serious ethical concerns about the justice and the fairness. Essentially punishes individuals for the poverty, turning a blind eye to the underlying society issue that leads to crime. But you know what? They committed a crime. So it's $50 a day, a bad rate. It's a cheap hotel. Get 3 meals and a cot. I don't know. Like I said, if you like this information you're getting, like, subscribe. Let's put some comments down there. Comment on how you feel about this pay to stay. Tell me more about this pay to stay. How much what you really think about it. You think it's a good idea? You think it's not a good idea? Let's get it going. Is it a necessary policy or unjustified policy? What do you guys think about it? The pay to stay is I didn't think it was real until I saw the account that came across my desk one day, and inmate made a comment. Hey, they got a lien against my account about the pay to stay. You just don't know, I guess. I'm over here looking at some other things about the pay to stay. Like I said, it's not just Florida, it's other states. Other states got the pay to stay. Let's look some more up on the pay to stay. As of 2021, about 40 states have the pay to stay program. 40 out of 50 states. That's pretty Good number right there on the pay to stay. If you just tune in, I got the video. Let me play it one more time for you.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called pay to stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
Like I said, pay to stay in prison or jails. A lot of states, like I said, 40 states out of 50 are doing it. State of Florida is doing it $50 a day. It's got to be court ordered from the judge. Once they do it, once they're in prison. Now, here's the unique thing about the pay to stay. In Florida, you can get out of prison at 80% of your sentence as long as you're doing your time, you're doing what you're supposed to, you do your little duties, your little jobs, and you get game time. Now, the downfall about it is, now if they stop the pay to stay when you EOS at your 80% date, that'd be good. But like they said before, you get out, you still have to do the pay to stay until you reach your 100%. Now, the state gets an advantage of it, because now you have another inmate staying in that cell, $50 a day. Now the state's making $100 off of that until they EOS. As you saw, that was Shelby Hoffman interviewed by the WFTS Tampa Bay, recounted her ordeal. Despite serving a 10-month sentence over a 7-year term, she was hit with a $127,000 bill post-release. Hoffman has turned her life around, pursuing a bachelor's degree, yet her dream of a career as a case manager remains out of reach due to outstanding pay of debt because she has a lien against her bills. Speaking of Johnson, Vile's congressional intervention of the university failed to curb the campus protest. 7.5 years post-relief, Hoffman said, "I've made significant strides. However, the debt holds her back from making future plans because she has to pay to stay against them." I agree. They should pay to stay, recoup some of the money that the state's paying for these incarcerated people. Now, it does make hardship. If they stopped it when they EOS, that'd be a great ordeal also. But charging them after they are on the street, yeah, I think they should stop it at 80%. Let's make it fair. Because if they're not in the room and you're going to charge $50 for another inmate, they're still making the $50 and they're out. It haunts individuals like Hoffman. It hinders the post-release progress. The practice is not only seems punitive, but serves the little purpose beyond the extended punishment. They already been punished to stay in there, but requiring individuals to install a criminal justice system to financially support the government agencies is insufficient, they say, against the human rights. But I don't know, I'm 50-50 on it. Pay to stay. Yeah, pay some of your share. Some people view it as unconstitutional. I don't think it's unconstitutional. Like I said, I'll bring it back round the loop. It costs a lot of money to operate the prison system. Once again, if you're here out there listening, like, share, comment, let us know what you got going on out there, what you think about it, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow the channel. Doing most everything I do is correction training. I'm gonna do some DOC stuff, but then again, we just had, like I said, we just had a death warrant signed 2 days ago. I did a little review on that, and I'm trying to get used to this live recording, get things rolling and moving. So I think I might incorporate a little bit of that. So it's going to be a little bit more than just training methods for officers that does the field of corrections, the prison system, how things works. But we're going to get back on this pay to stay. I'm going to play it one more time, the video of what we're talking about. State of Florida does it. It's $50 a day in Florida, but 40 of the 50 states does the pay to stay.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called Pay to Stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
That's right, folks.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Across the country, the criminal justice system is becoming more both private and more expensive. Some prison systems has came up to rely on private contractors, electronics monitoring, probations, pretrial services, incarceration services. State of Florida, we are getting some new security measures to help our prison system out and making everybody, making sure it's safe for the community, the officers and the staff that's involved. We are fixing to go to the electronic monitoring system inside the walls and inside the fence. But it's more for, a lot of people think it calls it a tracking device, but it's not really just a tracking device. It's more of accountability, making sure we have the inmate, helps the officers with the count. And you have something go down on a compound and you can't find who's involved. These bracelets are going to help us. The other thing we got coming to us, drones. Drones are big things. Drones be dropping weapons and all kinds of things on top of the compound, making it risky. You don't want no weapons, guns, and ammo flying down and dropping right there in open bay while they're out there playing basketball. Next thing you know, there's a weapon on the compound. So we got a drone protection system coming out there too. Got a lot of new stuff, new security measures. But meanwhile, we're going to go back to this pay to stay. We're talking about pay to stay in prisons, $50 a day in the state of Florida. Other states has other charges. Like I said, across the country, the criminal justice system is becoming more private and more expensive. The fee sometimes called pay to stay. That's the big word. If you Google it right now, pay to stay are imposed at the state and county levels, and how they're applied varies widely. It's got to be court ordered from a judge for state prisoners. I got 3 right now that's actually in 2 of my dormitories. And what's funny is they got hit with it about the same time. One was pretty outrageous when he got leaned against him. It goes against their canteen funds and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's not a great thing in some situation, but like I said, some of these inmates, they get incarcerated. They get out 80% of their service. If they get out on early release because of gang time, what have you, they did programs, got education, they get gang time for education, different programs like that. The thing that I disagree with is after the 80% and they get out on the streets, they're still charging them $50 a day until they reach the 100% time. I don't really think that's too fair, but that's just how it is. I don't disagree with them paying for the time they're actually in prison, and the state's charging another $50 for the new inmate to move into empty cell. Now, majority of our cells are 2-man cells, so there's $100 for 2 inmates right there, making it back up. Now, when the EOS, here's where the problem comes in. We're going to charge these guys. They're ex-convicts. They're outside on the streets, and you got to take accountability. How are these inmates going to pay the fee when they're on streets? Some do not do it because they don't make the income. And we know a lot of times low income people is why they end up in prison. They end up robbing people, trying to get by means, trying to get some money to get mean. But, they do criminal things, selling drugs, buy drugs, all kinds of good stuff. But once again, I want to play the video again, what we're talking about.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called Pay to Stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
Powered by Riverside.
Because the reality is the effect of pay to stay system can be devastating. Like I said, if you're out there watching, you like what I'm talking about, like, share the page, subscribe. We're trying to build the page up. Like I said earlier, I do more of training style videos, talks about correctional procedures, how we should do it, make things run smoother. Help out some of my coworkers, where they have some flaws, some safety issues, and help them out. But like I said, 2 days ago, we had a death warrant signed. I did a little thing on the death warrant, talking about what the inmate did to be on death row. Death row is a very interesting beast, how it works. Most people knows that in the state of Florida, death row used to be held mostly at Florida State Prison and Union Correctional Institutions. Now, majority all of them are housed at Union Correction until they get the death warrant signed off on. And once the death warrant signed off on, we move them next door and put them in what's called the death house. There's a video on that. If you go toward the one that's called death house, if you go 3/4 away, it starts talking about what they do when they do go on death house. But right now we're talking about the pay and stay in prisons. State of Florida, we charge $50 a day. If it's ordered by the judge, they're paying $50 a day for their incarceration while they're in prison. I don't disagree with that, but the part I did say I disagree with is that they have to pay if they get out early, like at the 80% time, because of gang time. They got their education, got some gang time for that. We're still charging them until they reach 100%. They're on the streets, they're not in that cell. And the state of Florida is charging them that $50, and they're charging a new inmate in that cell the $50 also. I thought it was a joke a couple of months ago. I guess recently is something fairly new that we're doing in the state of Florida, because I've been working the prison system for a little over 15 years. I've never seen it until, I say last month. I got 3 guys now that I know got hit with a lien because they're doing pay to stay. And one guy was really pissed about it. I'm like, gotcha, buddy. But, and I'm not a cruel guy. I get along with just about all of them. I treat everybody fair, but it couldn't happen to one of the best guys out there to do the pay to stay, because we try to manage his behavior, but sometimes he likes to tear up some more state property, which I don't disagree with the charging him that $50 a day. In fact, we had to do some discipline on him because he decided he was going to rip the damn light out of the ceiling. Charge him that $1,300. You're going to buy us a new one. Maybe the state get nice and buy 2 or 3 of them LED lights at a cheaper rate. I don't know what $1,300 for the light, but that's how much it costs. But that's how much we charge that inmate. So he got another lien put against him just recently. Just likes tearing stuff up, I guess. I don't know. Those are the type of people we need to keep behind those fences out there, because we don't need them out there in your neighborhood tearing shit up then, no, do we? Like, share, comment to it. Let's get it rolling. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try doing more videos similar to this. We're going to try to get it more streamlining, get more used to this streaming. My channel has only been up about 3 months, I guess. I've been teeter-totting. I've done some dad jokes to get it hopping and going. Got some fun. I met some interesting kids online that's commented to me, and some had some sad stories, and the jokes made them feel good. And I'm glad to make someone feel good. That's what it's all about. We try to be positive every day, especially in the environment that I work in, Department of Corrections. No matter if you're in the jail, detention area, it could be a negative environment kind of an ordeal, but you can't let it bring down because you're out there, you're helping people. You're going to help people. And that's a helping people job working inside of a prison. You never know what you're going to see either. Some days it'd be entertaining. Beyond popular belief, we don't sit there and beat up the inmates all day. I know a lot of people say, oh, those officers out there beating the tar out of them inmates. Trust me, we're not in there beating inmates because these officers, if they do something wrong, you saw us on the news. I think it was Hamilton CI a couple of months ago. We had an officer decided he's going to be a little retarded and slap the stew out of an inmate. Not once, not twice. I think it was 3 times. And you got to forget, we got people selling contraband in there, and I did a video on contraband talking about how inmates get their contraband. And lots of times it's from staff members. And it's sad. And it's true. Sad. They try to supplement their incomes by being a dirty staff member. And just so happened in this case here, this inmate done bought him a cell phone. Nice recording system. And that's the video you saw on the news. The inmate behind a confinement wall cell, recording an officer doing something dumb. And he should get charged accordingly. We shouldn't be out there just beating the little stew out of these inmates. Now, granted, I will not lie. There's a lot of inmates that really deserve getting their ass whipped, but that's not what we get paid to do. The judge sentenced them a time to be in the prison system, and my job to keep them behind the fence so they ain't out there aggravating the tar out of you and getting them served their times. But what we're talking about, back to just what we're talking about pay to stay. Apparently, the pay to stay started around 1980s. And what we mean by pay to stay is kind of like a hotel room. Other states had done it back in the 80s when incarceration was getting very expensive in the 80s. Some states took it up and some jails did it. When you go to jail in some prison and the judge court orders you to pay for your stay, that's what they did. Well, it's fairly new to us in the state of Florida, or I just ain't seen it. I got 3 inmates that just got hit about a month or 2 ago doing the pay you stay. Got liens on it, $2,500 pay to stay. The one part I do disagree with on the pay to stay, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The new guys has just joined us on the channel here. Some inmates do what they're supposed to get in, they get the time served, they come in there, they're well behaved, and we offer them game time. Then we give them jobs. Now, a lot of people calls it a little slavery and this, that. It's not slavery. I ain't gonna lie to you. They want jobs. A lot of these inmates want these jobs because what do you want them to do? Just sit there in a bed and just twiddle their thumbs? Idle hands is devil's, guys. You got them sitting there like the damn devil right there. You get them something to do. If they're not in class, they're not in education, we don't have volunteers them to talk to them, help them out. Give them a job. And I granted, there's some jobs out there no one wants. I used to say food service one, but where I'm at now, they're fighting getting food service. I don't know why, but they are. But we're talking about pay to stay. And I'm fixing to show you a clip here. What we're talking about, the pay to stay.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called pay to stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Like I said, what do you think about the pay to stay? I have no problem with it. I charge them. They're in there. They did a crime. I pay for it. Where I don't really agree with is, like I said, if they get out doing these jobs in the EOS at the 80% date, the state is still offering them to pay the $50 a day until they reach the 100% time. Now, they did what they're supposed to do, got game time. They got out at 80% of their sentence, and they're doing the pay to stay still, $50 a day, that they're supposed to be incarcerated until 100%. Now we got another inmate in that cell. We're charging them $50 a day. They're charging twice for that room. Now, I'm not saying every inmate's paying it right now, but giving you the idea, if more judges starts putting this out there, you'll start seeing more stories on the news, like I just shared with you. But it's reality. The pay to stay system can be devastating when the inmate gets out because they have to owe. Apparently, there's a George Ritchie, Missouri man who spent 3 months in jail after his misdemeanor conviction. The county charged him $35 per day for his stay in jail, having him with a bill for $31.50 just for the room and board. Ritchie's only income was $600 per month disability payment. And over 2 years after his release from jail, he still owed the county more than half of his bill. Well, Ritchie could not afford to pay his room and board for his jail sentence. The county put him back in jail for failure to pay. Guess what? That county charged him another $22.75. If you couldn't pay it the first time, they're not going to pay it the second time. So get that joke right there. If you like what I got here, go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel, put some comments down here. We're trying to make the channel grow. Like I said, it's called Correctional Officer Advice. We talk about a lot of stuff about procedures types, not secretive procedures, not 100%, but ideas how to help other officers be safe on the job and keeping the inmate safe too. We want everybody safe and the staff member safe. But today we're going to do more videos kind of like this in the future. But I'm trying to get used to this live stuff. It's all new to me. And believe it or not, if you ain't heard my kids yelling, crying yet, showing their buddy butts, I appreciate them today because I tried this the other day and they was a little rowdy. Love them little girls, but you know, see what it is. But anyways, brought to you by the Randall girls. But anyways, should they charge him the second time around? So now he's got $22.75 on top of the bill that he was charged for originally $31.50. He couldn't afford it the first time, so he still owes $3,500. That's crazy. Well, pay to stay fees provide reunions, and they sometimes can cause prisoners like Ritchie to finally have a practical constitutional remedy. In 2019, the Supreme Court turned his attention to a long ignored clause in the Constitution, excessive fine clause that prohibits the government from imposing these extra fees. But, you know, it is excessive. He couldn't pay it the first time. What made him think they're going to do it the second time? Let's see what we got here. Providing a specific example through the substance fee. There's a way they can have the fee withdrawn. A lot of different things. Just Google it and research it. It's all kind of new to me too. It's crazy how they do things like that. But in a nutshell, I don't disagree with it. $50 per day in the state of Florida. Some $35 like this one jail, court ordered by jail. You know, I didn't hear. I just recently heard about it. Like I said, maybe a month or two ago. Had an inmate totally showed his ass and ripped the cell up, and couldn't happen to a better person because this is just past history. He's a total butthole, anyways. I get along with him very well, and he was mad that the state totally charged his ass on that, and he ripped some more lights. And like I said, he ripped another light out last week. I charged him another $1,300, well, however much it was, $1,300, I guess, for the new light fixture. So I can't foresee him paying that whole debt back. But you know, when they say do the crime, pay for the crime, there you have it. That's what he's going to do. He's going to pay. If he gets out, he's going to be paying a lot of money. He owes a lot of money. Once again, if you like what we got going on, like, subscribe, put some comments down. I want to show you one more time the video. I know y'all probably tired of seeing the same video clip, but in the future we'll have some more stuff. Like I said, I'm building a channel up. We're going to learn what y'all like, what y'all don't like. I see we got right now 23 hottie y'all out there. We're going to get her done. We're going to learn this thing. We'll get it running. We're going to get something interesting for you guys to really like and enjoy. Thank y'all for being out there. If you have topics or anything you want me to talk about in the near future, put it in the comments below, and we'll work on doing something like that, and we'll try to get it more smoother. We'll get some more videos so you ain't got to stare at my face the whole time. I've been doing this about 2 or 3 months. I'm really enjoying this. And we're going to keep it up. It's a good little hobby I picked up, and we're going to keep it going. But here's the video, what we're talking about, the pay to stay with this one particular lady.
$750,000 for her time in prison.
They told me that you are not eligible because you owe over $127,000 for an incarceration fee from the state of Florida. I literally felt like my entire past just punched me in the face.
A little-known law in Florida called pay to stay charges inmates $50 per day for their time behind bars. The cost is based on the length of the sentence, regardless of early release or ability to pay. So even after redemption, the state continues to bill inmates at the same daily rate. They can also impose a new bill on the next occupant of the same prison cell. This allows them to charge multiple fees for the same bed, and this obstacle is ruining many former prisoners' lives.
Powered by Riverside FM.
I appreciate y'all taking the time. We're fixing to go shortly, but if you're here and you watch a lot of correction stuff, looking for information, Just Corrections, check his page out. He's very good. He talks fast, and he's a little wild hair out there, and I really like the dude. Tier Talk's another good place to start learning some tips about correctional and learn some new things about the job. Pay to stay is great. If you would out there, y'all hit that like button. Just ding, 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 that like button. I'm hoping y'all liking it because some of y'all still sticking around out there. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments. Give me some ideas what kind of videos we should do in the future. Once again, thank you for being out there and support me. And once again, I'm Kerry Randall.